on Clara's Mystery, the reason that bothers me is the power imbalance, because I would say there's about 4 companions that have the whole, like, I'm taking you along with me because there's something going on with you.
As opposed to you as a character, we're equals. Like,
yeah, or like,
I've
kidnapped you, actually happens to a lot of them. There's like, kidnapped, stowed away, or like, invite along, but as far as he invites them along, but as far as like, I know there's something going on with you from the doctor's perspective, and I need to figure it out and keep you close to me. I would say that's Turlo, Ace, Amy, and Clara. But the difference with Clara is we see it from the doctor's perspective, because with all the other that we see it from their perspective, and Ace and Amy don't know there's anything going on with them, and Turlo does. So I love Turlo a lot. But the interesting thing about him is, like, we know what's going on with him, he knows what's going on with him, so the interesting thing is trying to figure out how much the doctor knows. Because it's like, does he, like, I think he must know this, he's not that dumb, and just the whole, like, things unsaid between them. I love Enlightenment a lot. That's one of my favorite ones, but I can't tell people to go watch it, because you have to watch Modern Undead and Terminus, really, before you can do Enlightenment, because it's a whole series, and, like, that's a whole, like, 200 minutes of your life before you can get to Enlightenment. But, yeah, with Clara, we see it all from his perspective. So that's why I like Victoria.
She doesn't have a voice.
She doesn't have a voice. So even with, like, Amy and Ace, like, yeah, I must assume there's something going on like that, but we don't...
It's not the focus.
It's not the focus, and we don't see him, like, obsessed with her. Ace is a bit different, but yeah, we're not getting it from Clara's perspective, which makes it feel just a bit creepy. Because that's what Victoria and Clara was especially since
she was strong and she didn't listen, like,
she did what she wanted. And you got this feeling like, I was trying to figure her out, like, does she know what's going on? What is going on with her? But she's had a leg up on him, which modern Clara doesn't have as much. Maybe now that she's, like,
maybe now that she's enlightened.
Yeah.
But, because the modern Clara was, like, past Clara, and so it was, like, she didn't know that this was happening.
What I really wonder is, like, when Clara jumped into the time stream, did she cause her own existence
everywhere?
Everywhere, including herself. Because there was the thing with the leaf, it showed her jumping into the time stream and coming, it did show the leaf. So did she cause her own existence? That is one thing. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around.
That's fine.
But, like, was her jumping into the time stream causing her own existence in her own life as the person who jumped into the time stream?
No, that's confusing. But, I don't think
Moffat! If you're going to do time travel, know how to add. That's the Pon's timeline annoys me, because it's like, cool, like, I'm okay with you jumping around, but at least be able to add the years. Okay, anyway, but...
Okay. I don't think so, because I think, well, the point I think they're trying to make, whether or not it's, like, true or not in the dimension, in the reality that they're in, I think the point that they're trying to make is that she, as a person, jumped into a time stream and then inserted herself everywhere. Like, and so she had to exist before that in order to jump in, like, as a...
Maybe! But that's one of the... Like, I kind of felt with Clara, and I can't really put it into words, like, a lot of the things... Like, it was addressing criticisms people had with Amy Pond, but very clumsily. Like, they didn't actually quite know what the problems were. But that is one thing I'll say to her. The season finale, like, actually surpassed my expectations, because my expectations were pretty much like, please don't ruin this for all time. But, like,
so pretty low.
She was active in her own, like, she's mysterious because of things she actually did.
Yeah,
that
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole pre-that is just...
I did not like Journey to the Center of the TARDIS.
I didn't either.
I
thought it was interesting to see more parts and
but like the whole thing, like, I don't like ones where it, like, resets and it's like, why did this even... Because, like, I don't like The Girl Who Waited either.
Oh. I mean, at least that one had a little more emotional pull, like, because of Rory. But Journey to the Center of TARDIS had no stakes,
and
really.
There was too many things going on.
Yeah, it was just.
There was some cool stuff, but then it reset. It's like, this barely even, like, what was the point of this?
Yeah. I know your name. Don't say it.
Also, like one of those things you have to put. It was one of the, like, how many times has that happened? Really? Because that could have happened before, and nobody just remembers
I
it
know.
because the timeline got redone.
Just every day, the Doctor just has to reset everything.
Can I go into the whole thing of my thing on the different companions?
Yeah!
So,
Okay, so she likes companions, and
I
talking
like
about
companions a lot. I actually have spreadsheets. I do! So it was not this past summer. The summer before, I was bored, and I was like, this is before I knew a ton about Classic Who, which is actually, this is one of the ways I learned. I was like, okay, I feel like the Pawns deserve a happy ending, because they've gone through so much crap.
Well, they do get to live together in
but this
the
is-
same time period.
This is before we knew what happened.
Oh, okay,
This was
gotcha.
before Series 7 started.
Mhm.
So I made spreadsheets of how all the companions stopped traveling with the Doctor, how all the companions started traveling with the Doctor, and then my overall analysis of whether or not the Doctor had ruined their lives. Because he did go on this whole thing of, like, I ruin everyone's life. And my overall analysis was like, the new series companions go through a lot of crap.
Yeah,
but
compared to the...
And then I also have spreadsheets on comparing the amount of, because it's hard to compare, like how long a companion is. Like Jamie McCrimmon has the most amount of episodes. Amy Pond has the most amount of stories, just because of the way it worked. And Tegan Jovanka has the most amount of real world years, just the way the seasons fell. But like it's really hard to compare that because 25-minute episodes versus 45, so it was like, let's add up all the 25 minutes and 45 minutes and actually compare that. So it's really interesting, just the way it falls, because someone's like, and then Dodo Chaplet has about as much, like, time as Jack Harkness, but nobody's ever heard of her, and, like, it goes something, it might have changed now, I haven't updated it. No, it was after the season ended. So, you have, like, Amy Pond, Sergeant Benton, Rose Tyler. So, like, that's one of the things that annoys me when people write off Classic Who, is because you have these characters who have been around. They have that much time, and people don't care about them. There have been some really bad companions leaving, though, especially since some of them, like, they didn't even bring the actors back to film them, like, with Dodo Chaplet or Liz Shaw. It's like, and then they left. Romana won also, and it's like, and then Romana regenerated for no reason, apparently. Mel left. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm leaving with this guy now. Bye, have an ace. It was actually a sweet goodbye, but it didn't make any sense. The ones with where the companions have been kidnapped is a little bit better. It's like, and now I made it back to my own time, so now I'm gonna... companions have been kidnapped. But actually, no, like, the first... Barbara and Ian were kidnapped by the Doctor, first companions besides Susan. So, that actually happened a lot more in, the very early years, like, and... Like, they would walk into the TARDIS thinking it was an actual police box, and it would take off. I will say that for Amy and Rory, they're the first couple to, like, be married on the TARDIS. Because that's actually how a lot of companions left, was like, oh, I'm gonna go marry this guy I just met, and it was bad. It's like, thank you. That's how Leela left, which pissed me off. Because it's like, this is not a character at all. I'm just gonna stay on Gallifrey and marry Andred. What? But apparently the writers... didn't believe that Louise Coleman was actually gonna leave. But then it was like, oh yeah, she's leaving, oh shoot, we need to write her out. And apparently, this is interesting, she could have been the first companion to come back, because she was offered, like, she was supposed to,
Wait, who's this?
Leela.
Oh, okay.
Louise Jameson played. I say Jameson, I don't actually know how it's pronounced. I should probably know that. Was, they offered her the ability to come back for the fourth Doctor's regeneration to the fifth Doctor, but she would have had to sign on as a companion, and she was like, but I was offered some Shakespeare, so I went and did that, but I wish I had gone back to Doctor Who, but she could have been the first companion to come back. Except for the Brigadier, but the Brigadier is a bit special. Who is actually, I think, besides the Doctor and the TARDIS, the Brigadier is the most important character to, like, the history of the show.